Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. The dark price of the spotlight. Entertainment edition. Come on, house, Judah. We missed Josh today.
I was saying it kind of quietly.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Tatiana Liary. I'm a Latin artist, content creator, and owner of Liary Content Solutions. You can go to tatianaliary.com and you can see everything about me there. Before introducing our amazing guest today, let's introduce to our legend, Judah Crombie.
Oh, yes, the legend. She calls me the legend, and that's sweet.
You are the legend.
Makes me feel so good inside. All right.
Tell us who you are.
Music lover, entrepreneur extraordinary. Yes, baby. Let's get this thing going. We got a really cool guest, so I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited. So our guest is the owner of Plant Based Mafia, a delicious Italian plant-based restaurant in West Palm Beach, who used to be in the movie production business. And he's here to tell us all about behind the scenes in Hollywood. So I cannot wait. Welcome, Danny Costanzo, right? Is that your Costanzo?
You got it right.
Ooh,
I did my job.
You usually butcher the name, but you did well.
Welcome. We're very excited to have you. How you feel about being in our podcast today?
Fantastic. Love it. Super excited.
We're going to go down, and I got to go down there within the week and go try out your place. I've heard good things. I've looked into it. Good reviews. And, man, West Palm Beach, business owner. Did you ever have any, really cool people come in, guest-wise?
Yeah, we get celebrities coming through there, but we get their handlers come through, so we know that we've gotten either the assistant or one of the handlers for one of the Venus sisters.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
Serena,
that's
Serena and
some
Venus
Williams.
That's
one of the
really
Williams
cool.
sisters. Yeah, so. She apparently orders from us all the time, but
What about Michael Jordan? That's my dude. Does he go? Has he ever been there?
I've never seen him. I don't think he's going to want to eat vegan food.
Probably. That's
man.
a good point. Good point.
But there's a lot of celebrities eating plant-based diet now, so I'm sure.
It's popular. It's the thing to do. That's what you do that, don't you?
I'm vegetarian, yeah.
Right.
That's why.
Yes.
I went there. I was like, this place looks pretty awesome. So what made you change from the movie business to the food industry?
Well, I didn't really change. It was just I left LA. I needed to take a break. It just got too weird out there. I had a studio in the same building where I had my apartment, and you just start waking up every morning, stepping over homeless people and human feces, and you just I need a change for a while. So I moved out to Vegas.
Oh, wait a minute.
Where I came from, yeah.
From Vegas.
Yeah. Listen, that, the poop, what is it called? The poop app.
Yes.
They got a poop app. Did you ever hear of this?
No.
I know it started in San Francisco, but you get on an app and it literally shows you on a map little droppings everywhere.
Where the poop
little
is?
Poop emojis.
Yep.
And it's so you can avoid, stepping in human poop.
Oh my gosh, that is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
That's insane.
There's no poop in Vegas. There's no poop app in Vegas. So
I'm surprised there's not. I would think it's legal.
It smells like poop in Vegas, though, sometimes.
I know. How do you ended up in Vegas?
I just woke up one day and I said, I need a change. And I always loved Vegas. And I loved living out there. You can still do your movie stuff from wherever.
Yeah,
you don't
I bet.
need to be in LA.
That's true. And it's only 4 hours.
Yeah, it's not far at all. Yeah. I loved the ride, so it worked perfect. And I moved out there and rented this amazing apartment for half the price. Half the price, 3 bedrooms in this beautiful apartment complex with a private parking space, in a secure building with amazing pools, and it was just great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And why Plant-Based Mafia? I mean, he's Italian. Tell us the truth.
Yeah.
Is your family from Mafia?
Yeah. Well, every Italian family is, 1 degree separated.
Right?
Yeah. But really, because when I lived in LA, I was discriminated against often for being Italian. All the time. And a lot of people don't see that. You only hear about discrimination of other minority groups.
Yeah.
And so I didn't just have a production company, I had a management company out there, and I had a lot of really talented black actors, and we would laugh about stereotypical roles. And I was like, Italian actors only get 2 roles. dumb, stupid, angry gangster, or comedic, dumb, stupid, angry gangster.
So Robert De Niro or Joe Pesci.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
So you get those two.
you don't really see an elevated Italian, very rare.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you know, my black actors would be like, yeah, you guys have it worse than we do.
I never thought about that before.
Me neither.
But now that I think of it, Italian actors, yeah, most of the if you were going to say name another movie that's not like mafia based, Italian actors starring in it, especially,
I can't even think of it.
Couldn't.
I don't.
You'd have to go back to that great movie from the 80s with Cher. Was it
with Moonshot or
yeah.
Moonshine or
so
Shot.
yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So they got to play
Okay.
the Italian actor. Now you have, you know, for instance, you had the Spike Lee movie with the pizzeria guy. He plays I forget who the name of the actor is. Great actor. He was older actor, but he played like this racist Italian. Like
Mike Rapport? No,
not
Rappaport.
Rappaport.
Never mind. He's not.
Yeah.
I know the movie you're talking about.
Yeah. So like he plays just like a racist Italian, like in his white, you know, guinea tee, his wife beater. So it's like it's always that. And when I was in LA, every meeting I left, my producing partner would text me or call me and say, they want to know where you get your money from. Is it mob related?
What?
That's not right.
Wow.
No, it's not. And I lived in a very nice building on Fuller Avenue, literally connected to what's called Runyon Canyon. And a luxury apartment, one of the top level apartments, came available. And I remember going to the new building management, and I said, I want that apartment. And I have it on recording, she said, I'd never rent to a greasy guinea like you.
What?
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay.
Man.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I never think of that, you know? We always think
of
it's like against Latinos and all these minorities, but now this is new to me. That's not cool.
Because we don't complain. We don't care. We don't make a big stink. The only time we make a stink is if you mess with Columbus. Or Rocky Marciano.
Touche.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, we just don't care because we've accomplished so much that we don't need anyone's sympathy. That's what I hear from the community, and that's what I know about myself. I'm like, I just don't care. Okay.
I like that.
I like it, but that being said, at some point, though, it's got to change because, I mean, just the movies, that's such a large disparity between Italians and any other ethnicity where there is no other movies. It's like just mafia movies. I think that thing should be addressed because there's a lot of good, talented actors that are Italian, I'm sure, that, you know, they should be getting more shots.
I
but
agree.
You could also blame the Italian actors, too, because every Italian actor I had wanted to ham that up. So you have to also make the decision when I would take on an Italian actor, I would say, don't focus on being a mafia stereotype guy. Expand upon your capabilities.
Okay.
You know, so there is another side of being Italian, like family. Like if you look at how the Latinos are portrayed, very family oriented, stuff like that. They're no different than the Italians. We just add in the fact that we kill a lot of people.
And some pasta.
And we do it well. Yeah.
With pasta, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I'd always joke with my black actors, you know, or friends, that the only difference between a black gangster and an Italian gangster is we just dress better.
That's true. and pasta.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
pasta.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you guys clean up pretty well, too.
I keep throwing in the stereotype of pasta.
It's like we're killing on Saturday and going to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not making TikTok videos with our guns in the air.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
it's more secretive.
It is very secretive, and that's probably how they were so successful for so long.
Yeah.
There's probably, I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I bet you the mob is still relatively big and powerful to this day. Maybe not like what it used to be, because they used to run everything. I mean, they used to run Teamsters.
I remember Gotti.
They got involved with the politicians and politics. I mean, but I don't think it's quite like that today.
It's not as prevalent, no.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like Al Capone days, I mean, he was running everything. And anyway, so that's great, man. That's some good perspective for people to hear.
Yeah. It's just interesting.
And what about why plant-based?
Oh, so when I was in LA, in 2016, I started. Plant Based Mafia was actually called Heart Disease Mafia, so I was just transitioned over to more of a plant-based diet and was just trying to teach men. It was a masculine brand to teach men how to get healthier through a plant-based diet.
I like it.
And then I had a girlfriend at that time was like, just change the name to like Plant Based Mafia, because what are you going to do with heart disease? You can't do anything with that. So I did that, but then like the mafia thing was like a play on words, right? So I just wanted like, we're going to take back the word mafia and we're going to have fun with it. And that's kind of where it started. It started really just like the mafia thing started from like the discrimination because I'm Italian and connected to the mafia. So I'm like, let me just take that word. I'm going to double down on it. Because that's what I ultimately did in LA. I'm like, you know what? If you keep saying I'm in the mob, I'm just going to pretend I'm in the mob.
Sure.
So I started wearing fedoras, and then all of a sudden, people stopped asking. They just started assuming.
Yep.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. I think it's clever. It sounds cool. And you've been established there for how many years now, was it?
I was in LA. I got out there in 2011.
Yeah.
So I was there for like 6 years until I moved to Vegas.
Okay, and then the Plant Based Mafia has been here in West Palm Beach for how long now?
Since officially we opened our first location in 2020.
Oh, that's great. That's 4 years in.
4 years
because
in.
most restaurants have a, 80% turnover rate within the first year, I believe. They fail. So you've already made it past that threshold. That's amazing.
Oh, and he's so cool.
That's awesome.
We need to go. We need to go and film.
Let's do it.
I want to know what is the most bizarre experience you've ever had as a movie producer.
Well, I could tell you the funnest experience. Well, this is a bizarre experience too. So we snuck into the Maroon 5 Halloween party, which was really insane. Because really, listen, any given night you could wind up in a house in the hills in Hollywood. That's like every night was bizarre. But this is one of the funnest events. Like Halloween was always big for me. I was out with my crew, and I drove a really nice car when I was out there, a really nice AMG. You look the part, people want to know who you are. So we were out, we did something that night, and we're coming down Santa Monica Boulevard, and we see this huge line of cars heading into the Forever Cemetery. And are you familiar with the Forever Cemetery?
I am
That's
not.
like a famous Los Angeles cemetery. And we're like, let's just hop on this line and see where it takes us.
Yeah.
And we get into the cemetery, and I remember seeing this woman with this like big list, and she's like, what production company are you with? And I was like, Up Late Productions. She's just like, go, 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 because it was so packed. So we literally got in, drive all the way up to the front, they park us, and we just walk into, there's this building with these huge doors. You open these doors, and there's this enormous party going on. People on stilts, blowing, hot, blowing fire, serving drinks in every sort of capacity.
In a cemetery?
There's a big building, like a mausoleum, and then out back is this big open field. Every celebrity you can imagine. DiCaprio, this one, that, everybody. And this was just like, we just snuck, we didn't even know where we were at this point. Oh. So I'm like, whose party is this? And someone was like, it's the Maroon 5 party, Halloween annual
Freak
party.
off.
Yeah, it was the Maroon Freak. And that was it. We just partied all night. So that was a lot of fun. That was wild. One crazy a night that we had, so there's underground raves that are happening all the time in LA. And we got invited to this crazy rave, me and a buddy of mine. And I never went to raves. It wasn't my thing. I go to this huge warehouse. It's totally, abandoned. We have to, sneak through this, broken door. And we, wind up in this upstairs place. And there's this, old woman up there with this, gang of people that she's, artists that she's, in control of. There's big pieces of canvases everywhere. They're living up in this, huge loft-like space in this abandoned building. They have generators going, all of these things are going. This is a gang of artists. And then right below us was this enormous rave. And they did this every single weekend, and these people just lived up there. They had no running water. It was just the most bizarre and unique experience that I had in California, in LA. But, many nights was just you go to a bar and then someone who's rich in the bar was like, let's party back at my house in the hills. And next thing you know, you're at a house in the hills partying. That happened all the time.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like where I was from, but on a microcosm scale compared to what you experienced. So let's go back to the Maroon 5 Freak Off. So you see a bunch of A-list celebrities there and whatnot, right?
For sure.
Now, when these celebrities engage in certain things like they do, like we've been hearing all in the mafia. So what I hear is they usually save that for like the after parties and whatnot. But did you see anything kind of crazy like that happening while you were at that party?
There was a VIP section, so like you could see, but you couldn't get in there. But I witnessed people having sex under trucks there, lots of drug use, a typical high school party. Right. So I wouldn't go as far as saying any type of P. Diddy stuff.
Yeah.
But we also all knew about the P. Diddy stuff. But more than anything, being a producer in LA, we knew about the what's the big producer's name who got arrested, is in jail right now.
Not Reiner, it's Weinstein.
Weinstein. So everyone knew. This is why, like, when you see these celebrities who, when this all happened, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
You're like, what a lie.
Yeah, you're like, you're so full of shit.
Yeah.
Like,
full of shit. Exactly.
Yeah, and I was a low-level producer building his career, working with good celebrities. I produced a great film with Linda Cardellini and Skeet Ulrich and Craig Robinson. And that was a great movie. It was a great experience. I managed, great actors. I was at the beginning of what's the new Karate Kid TV series that started a few years back. Yeah, so I managed Bill Zapka, my management team. I was there with him. So I wasn't a major film producer, but I was doing what I needed to do to start building my career, and I was doing it fast. And as soon as you get into that space, it's be careful with your actresses around Weinstein. It's just like that conversation happened all the time.
So you were hearing this from other directors and actresses and everybody.
So that means everybody knew about it.
Everybody knew. And the casting couch, everybody knew. As a matter of fact, I had one of my managers, one of my assistants in my production company, I had to have him call up a female actor because he was trying to get her onto the casting couch and promising her things that he could not deliver on.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, and I made him call her up because I would get very angry because the female actors, at least back then, I'm not going to say now, but back then, they have a much smaller window. And I would bet it's the same thing. They have a smaller window and they age out quicker. And this is just the reality of Hollywood. Mm-hmm. It's not my world.
Right.
It's the world that they created.
Right.
Like men could go into Hollywood at 50 years old and in a few years, like, strike it big. Women have a much more difficult time. So I'm like, don't waste her fucking time. Okay? Mm-hmm. Don't be promising her bullshit that you can't do. And women have to be, they have to know how to write. They know how to read contracts. They need to know all the shit. So it's like, don't waste her time. Don't bullshit her, and go and call her right now and tell her that you lied. So, like, as a producer and a manager, you have to look out for your talent.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. Which has been the most rude celebrity that you have ever met?
Oh, wow. Rude celebrity.
That you're like, man.
All of them.
Right? No, like people always talk about J-Lo. Like, she's kind of like not.
Don't look in my eyes.
Yeah, don't look in my eyes.
I'm firing you. You looked in my eyes.
Most of the people that I've engaged with were really cool. But when we did our movie, Linda Cardellini, she was pretty rough. She's very talented. She was fantastic. But she just had an edge on her, and, she would make people feel like, and that was our experience. Now, I can't say that that's the same experience for any other film, but very rigid. If we had a new director, if he, was going over a little bit, it was very like, we have to hit these times, or, there's going to be a union issue. And I just want to be like, being from New York, shut the fuck up, If we got to go a half an hour over, you got to call the union rep. And it's like enough, she was the roughest one that I encountered, but I gotta say, most of the celebrities I met were super cool. Like I met what's his name, B Jordan, Michael B Jordan, early in his career, and he was super cool. I still have his phone number in my phone.
Oh, cool.
Really super nice guy, super sweet. It's like every celebrity that I ever met, like Craig Robinson, amazing, as cool as it gets.
Craig Robinson, he's buddies with like Seth Rogen.
Yeah, he was in all the Seth Rogen stuff.
Craig, he's hilarious.
Hilarious, and just such a nice guy. And even one time I did I went to speak at a school in New York, and it was like a school for minority kids. Most of the kids in the class were black, and I got him on FaceTime, and I was like, these are underprivileged kids, so he got to talk to them.
Oh my God, that is so sweet.
I literally just called him on FaceTime. I'm like, dude, I'm in this situation. Could you talk to these kids? He's like, fuck yeah, bro.
Oh, dude, you just gave me an idea. Let's put Craig Robinson on, let's put him on FaceTime and be like, tell us about the Diddy freak off, because I already know he went. Let's see if he answered. I'm just kidding.
Can you imagine? He'll be like, no, for that podcast.
He's like, oh, the dark price of the spotlight. No,
yeah, no way.
They're throwing shade all over Hollywood right now.
But let's be honest. What other than if you think about the Diddy freak off, is there a problem with adults being freaky?
I don't care about that. They can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want. It's the kids,
that is right? True. The problem...
But the killing, though, too. Because you hear of the killing. You hear of people getting drugged. I mean, baby oil bottles filled with...
against their will.
What's
That's
that
the
drug
thing.
called... the news has been talking about. So they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They're saying that it wasn't just baby oil. It was mixed in with that stuff, MGB or whatever it's called. It's like a drug that makes you kind of forget and be more willing to participate. So it's like that stuff I have a problem with. They want to do some freak offs with their whatever kind of freaky stuff, but they're all consenting to it, whatever.
Right.
But you hear so much stuff that's contrary to that.
Even the drink. Supposedly it's like a really hard drink that they take, and then they just wake up different.
Like it's like a date rate drug.
Yeah, they said that it's been like the worst thing they ever experienced.
Yeah. But those have been going on for a long time, and not just with Diddy.
Oh no, I mean that's the whole entertainment music.
Have you ever done it?
Well, I mean it's all the way up top. Period. You're talking all the way up top, period, across the board. Just elitist in general.
I've had my fun in LA, and I've been invited to certain situations that I declined for very specific reasons because I wanted to stay as professional as possible. So my fun typically would be with one person who understood the situation. But I had a very good friend who's still a good friend of mine out there who's an actor, but was also a bodyguard. Very good looking guy. Ex MMA guy, martial artist, like trained killer, and he would tell me insane stories because you had a lot of foreign money in LA and billionaires from foreign countries, and they would have full out orgy parties, and you're talking like a lot of like older, ugly, rich men, right? Okay, who are in many ways controlling large aspects of Hollywood because it's their money that are funding these projects. The executive producers. They have nothing to do with the actual physical production. It's all their money.
Right.
And he would show me pictures of like insane stuff going on. Just full out like 40-person orgies. Everyone doing everyone. And this is like he would point is like, see that house? That's the house. I was just there last night. And he invited me several times. I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm getting involved. Sounds fun. Yeah. Like maybe one time. But where does it like, if you get, I could see you getting addicted to that stuff too. You're doing drugs. Like, you know what? I'm going to stay a good Christian guy and just go to church on Sunday.
Well, I have a feeling that's kind of what draws them in to begin with. You get into this, you're an yum.
Well, yeah, you're yummy too, I guess.
You're a young, up-and-coming actor or producer or whatever. You get invited to some of these things. They introduce you to this world of drugs, crazy, beautiful women, orgy things going on. Next thing you know, you're fully addicted to it. And then they're pushing the boundary more and more. And then it gets ritualistic. And then it gets to the point where you get
They videotape
it for blackmail. It gets all political and weird. And I mean, one of the claims was that Oh man, the actress just shared this story about how she saw a bunch of children-aged people dressed up as porcelain dolls, I believe it was, or Harajuku dolls or something along those lines. And it's like that's why the world is like coming undone right now with anger. They're demanding justice because we're hearing all this crazy stuff,
especially with the kids.
Yeah, and they're getting away with it. Like you're hearing about people like, and again, this is allegedly, right? I'm not saying this happened or whatever, but the allegations are like Jay-Z and Beyonce have been involved with murder and like suitcases of women being dropped off in alleyways. I'm not saying I even believe that because that seems very far-fetched, but at the same time, it's like, how far or how big is this iceberg? Because the tip is big enough. How big is the rest of it? And it looks huge. It looks like worldwide, global, and it's like they're all covering for each other. That's what the people, think is happening.
I think you know how big it is, right? Because how many people were arrested off of the Jeffrey Epstein list?
0, I think, right?
1.
Oh, just Ghislaine.
Maxine.
Oh yeah, Maxine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yes.
A woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One woman. She wasn't the one having she wasn't the one raping the children.
She was like the right-hand man of Epstein.
Yeah, she was bringing them in.
But
why isn't like Bill Clinton's picture is on his wall in a dress?
Yeah.
Like you're telling me that's there for a reason.
Exactly.
That guy was raping children and he's out right now campaigning for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
So they just don't care.
Yeah. Or Leonardo DiCaprio, they have a lot of like phone calls to Epstein, for that.
I
He's
saw
still
him
out.
all the time. He always partied at a local bar that I was at.
There's pictures that just came out of him. Do you see that?
No.
With two black gentlemen at a Diddy freak off with the white towel on, with the guy behind him grabbing his waist, and then another guy like here, and he's like struggling. He's got a face of pain. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
That's a real picture.
That's what I'm saying. And the Epstein stuff, he was like one of the most calls that
Diddy's
he had.
favorite party guest.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, why are you out and about? Like, you're not doing anything wrong.
They're not worried.
I think Diddy was doing the same thing that Epstein was. And if you ask me, the raid was less about who he was drugging and more about who he recorded and could blackmail.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I don't think they care about the children being raped. They could give a shit less.
They don't care. And like the Ashton Kutcher thing is another thing. It's so bizarre to me because he was like operating a Save the Children trafficking thing.
Big
Turns
time.
out he was one of Diddy's best friends, partying with them all during that time. Oprah, she has a school in Africa where 13 girls went missing. Nobody knows where they went, but she's friends with all these people too. Like, it's a very interconnected group of elitists that they're all covering for each other, and they're always like, let's save the children, but then the children go missing.
Yeah, because they need to keep their faces like they're 15 years old.
Exactly. And
you think it's a coincidence? It's typically all part of one political party?
Mathematically speaking, is it even a coincidence at this point? I don't even know if you can even say it's a coincidence. I think it defies reason or logic if you were to say it's a coincidence at this point.
Yeah, to be clear, like, I'm an independent libertarian.
Yeah.
I don't have any allegiance. I think it's the worst thing to ever have an allegiance to any one politician or any one party. But when you unravel the onion, when you peel it back, it's like, why does this always go back to this one political party?
Yeah.
It's like the Pizzagate.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, that's crazy. But then when you read all those text messages about pizza, and then you see some of those political operatives having those insane paintings in their home of children being abused. It's like, who would even want that? I don't care what type of, I don't care if Van Gogh, I don't care who did the painting.
Right.
I've seen
Why
those
would they want
paintings.
that?
Lots of famous actors and actresses have them. Jamie Lee Curtis was sharing her pizza painting things, and
A lot of
and the emails were all like pizza this and pizza that, or hot dogs, and it's all like, it's not just politicians, it's the actors, actresses. They're all sharing this language of pizza. They go on the Ellen DeGeneres show talking about pizza. What's your favorite thing to do? Have people over and make pizza. And it's like,
so what is the pizza thing?
Well, that's part of, if you look at the FBI files, it's part of the language that pedophiles use.
Yeah, pizza refers to children.
Yeah, pizza refers to children. And now recently, there's a video circulating with P. Diddy having a conversation in jail telling somebody to get rid of all the pizza boxes.
Yeah, I think it was his son, actually.
Now, is that an AI fake video? Because I've seen it so many times now, and I've yet to find anyone saying this is a fake, this is AI. Like, it seems like it's real.
I've heard a lot of AI videos at this point, and while they are getting pretty good,
yeah.
It's very scary, though.
It is very scary.
Yeah.
Because, like, maybe there are some that are good enough to make it sound indistinguishable from reality. But from what I've been hearing, that sounds authentic to me. It sounds very authentic, and I'm not aware of any AI that's producing something that authentic. Because you can tell, when you see the fake commercials and it's Joe Rogan or Elon Musk, it's like
you can tell in like the mouth and stuff like that.
Even like audibly, you're like, that just sounds off. This thing sounds legit. He's talking to his son.
Yeah,
he's talking about like, oh, don't worry, they're all like, no, basically like I'm untouchable still, right? He's like, oh, I got it, I got this under control, and clean the pizza boxes.
Yeah. And no one's saying it's fake, though, because I'm looking for that.
Yeah.
I always go to look and see if anyone's saying, oh, no, this has been debunked, it's fake. It seems to be real. So everyone's still talking about freaking pizza.
That is insane.
Yeah. The pizza thing is insane, and it goes really, really deep.
Now, my question is, are they getting this kits, right, to look younger or to actually sexually abuse them?
Probably both. Was it the adrenochrome?
Yeah.
Am I saying that
adrenochrome,
right?
Yeah.
Adrenochrome. Well, what's his name said that they've been, we were just told, Alex Jones, it's another one. They've been drinking the blood for years. But here's the crazy thing. You know who Brian Johnson is? He's the I Want to Live Forever guy.
Yeah.
So he's the blueprint guy.
Yeah.
So he takes blood from his son.
I heard about that.
100%. He's shown it on, like, he does YouTube videos about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is a real thing. He's
Oh,
taking blood from his young son, and he transfuses his own body with young blood, which is pretty crazy. So, listen, I don't know. If there's a great old interview. Remember Jackie Gleason from The Honeymooners? Mm-hmm. So there's a great, you could Google this. There's a great video with Jackie Gleason, probably in the 80s, talking about how as a TV star they get you. You get the contract, you buy the really nice house. Because he's talking about how I wish I would have been smarter with my money. And this is one of the most famous people who ever lived in the entertainment industry. And he's saying they get you with the contract, you buy the house, you got the beautiful car, you got the beautiful woman, you got everything you need, but now you got to maintain it.
Right.
And they control you every step of the way. And whatever they need you to do, you're going to do. Right. So let's be honest. If you come from nothing, and now all of a sudden you got $100 million in the bank, and you are treated like a pseudo god, and what will the lengths you will go to maintain that? None of us have experienced that.
Yeah.
But we would know what we would do just to maintain our homes.
Yeah.
Okay? Now maintain a godlike presence.
Yep.
With, 8 figures in your bank, and with all the power you could ever have. How far would you go?
That's exactly.
That's
I made
right.
this point to you. Remember when I said, what happens with the regular human beings, just average humans, when you give them unlimited access to whatever their vice might be, or even vices they don't even know they have, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, they start getting into who knows what, and then they have unlimited access, right? So I think, or what is it called? Something power, whatever. You get enough power and you have access, you're going to really have to put yourself in check and be very well disciplined. Otherwise, you're going to fall. You're going to stumble. And the Bible, you're a Christian. I'm a Christian. We all are. Mm-hmm. The Bible is pretty clear about that kind of stuff, too. I mean, that's very evident if you read the Word, is that people are in our nature, we're sinners. And so I'm not surprised that we see people with absolute power that have absolute corruption.
Sure. I mean, listen, I experienced it in LA. I made very good money. I lived in a penthouse apartment. I had a beautiful production studio on Hollywood Boulevard. Drove beautiful cars, had everything that I wanted. And I was eating at the Four Seasons every Sunday for brunch. I remember my accountant being like, you have like a $50,000 like restaurant bill just for the year, because that's what you do in LA. And it just got to a point where I was like, this decadent lifestyle is taking a major toll on my health.
Yeah.
And I need to go seclude myself in Vegas, and I did. And it was the best thing that I ever did. You know, it was amazing. I would love, yeah. So it does. And what would have happened if I would have excelled further? Right. Because I was working on some big projects that got like I was working on a big reality TV show that would have been massive, but I was what's called hip pocketed through William Morris, so I wasn't technically being. They weren't technically our agent at the time, but they were overseeing our projects. And if we would have gotten a few projects off the ground, they would have been our official agents. But they took one of our major projects and they shelved it. They lied to us, said that they shopped it, and never did. Now, if they would have shopped it, this project would definitely have taken off. If you look up the guy now, his name is Cosmo Queen of Melrose. He's amazing. And he's got hundreds of thousands of followers. Just recently blew up, but he's a LA famous clothes designer. So, and I always think back, if that show would have hit, like I would have been the executive producer of a major reality brand, what would I have done? You know, at that point.
Do you think you would have went to the freak offs and got all freaky?
I don't. Well, I could tell you, I will take the freak off to like level 7, but when you start drugging people and start touching little children, there's going to be like vigilante justice, because I am very...
Why do you think that hasn't happened? Where is
all
has
these
to be actors and actresses? Is that the answer? Are they all being blackmailed?
It has to be pretty
close to that.
A bunch
of cowards? I mean, because it's like...
Cowards, definitely.
Cowards, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some actors that are kind of like coming out here and there. And
but now, because he's out, they never had
true.
the courage to really bring it forward.
Well, what's his name? Who did Passion of the Christ?
Mel Gibson.
Oh, yeah.
No, and who's the guy that played...
the movie.
Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, that's true. So there's a couple outliers here and there, but there is a guy. He was not an A-list celebrity. He was a B-, whatever, C+. This guy was, supposedly unalived himself, right? But he was out there talking about this thing, years ago, saying he was naming all these people he worked with. He was like, this guy's a pedophile. That guy did
guy
this.
With the long hair, right?
Yeah. And it's like, and he's like, I'm not suicidal at all. He's like, I'm not depressed. And he was very coherent and clear. And anyway, he ended up dying, right? Jumped off a bridge, supposedly. And then there was like some, Tom Hanks actually wrote a message like, there's some roadkill over on highway, blah, blah, blah. And it was where that guy supposedly jumped and killed him. So like, there is some outliers, but
that's what they're afraid. Maybe that something would happen to them.
There's power, like the mafia.
Yeah,
it's probably Hollywood's probably very much like the mafia, where if you challenge them or go against them, they probably threaten your family and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't even think that like they would even get arrested.
Probably not.
I think they would just be exposed, and they would lose their money, their power, their fame, their fortune, whatever.
Yeah,
I think Weinstein, they threw him under the bus. He was a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Because he's not the only guy doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Epstein, too. Same thing. A sacrificial lamb, I think.
Sacrificial lamb.
That's what I've heard, that Tommy Mottola is the actual powerful man behind all these celebrities doing this.
Yeah.
One of them, probably.
One of them.
Right.
Yeah. Major.
Like
Clyde Davis, too.
Clyde Davis, yep.
So you wonder, like, is that the reason why, like, P. Diddy did all this stuff? And they're saying that's because he was under what he was saying.
That is the theory right now.
Right.
But
Michael Jackson said that about him years ago.
And then he ended up,
right, exactly.
It's the same thing with Prince, so like
Prince too, yeah.
Prince ended up buying his own music catalog, I believe, is what it was, against people telling him not to. They're warning you. Anyway, so like I think if you start kind of messing with the money machine up top,
absolutely,
you end up overdosing.
Yeah,
like it's like
or the power structure.
You mess with the power structure, it comes after you.
A certain presidential candidate has done that.
Really? Who is it?
messing with the power structure.
Oh yeah. That's what I've been saying, man.
Oh yeah.
That's what I've been saying. I'm like, okay, I'm not even a politician. I'm not even necessarily a Trump guy because the guy fumbles his words, says things that I don't like. But at the end of the day, he's definitely going against the grain of what we see with the system, the machine.
Look what Chappelle said about him.
Exactly. He said he exposed the machine.
Yes.
And now they're all coming after him because before he was, not to get all political because we don't usually like to get into politics, but I see.
It's the conspiracy side of it, though.
It is the conspiracy side that if you challenge the machine, they will break you, or at least try to.
Any machine. It's going to get worse, too, if you start dipping into technology, AI technology. It's moving so rapidly fast. And look what Gavin Newsom just chose, I believe it was Newsom, chose not to sign like an AI bill that would have put some restrictions on AI. That's going to be another big power structure, So whoever, AI is the future.
Oh, for sure.
It's not going away.
We talk about that quite a bit.
Yep.
We talk about it in the music industry and movie and all that, but it's going to be used for everything.
Yep.
AI is scary. And I think that, I said it here first, I think in 20 years, biological women will become obsolete. There will be no need for them anymore because you will be able to take a man and give him a uterus implant and you'll be able to create babies through men.
That's my dream come true.
Oh, man. Mine too. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. That sounds painful.
Here's the upside, though. Men age differently than women. They maintain their muscle tone. So you could, as a man, all these powerful men running the planet, why would you choose a biological woman who has her time of the month and all these things when you can just take a feminine man who wants to transition and turn him into a beautiful woman who's never going to have a period, who's never going to have the hormonal imbalances and issues, who's going to age very differently, and then that you're going to fully control just as a sexual object. I guarantee you, in 20 to 30 years, biological women will become almost completely obsolete.
Well,
wow,
I was saying something similar to that, but I think it'll be like robot type things that look like, did you ever see Ex Machina,
Sure.
And beautiful robot, but then you infuse it with AI, right? So it's like in real time, it can have a conversation with you and you could be like, hey, get me my sandwich and dishes, and it won't complain.
Well, listen.
I hate you do that, for real.
That's the next level.
I'm just kidding, ladies.
That will be the next level where then biological men become obsolete and the human race becomes obsolete.
So it'll just be AI robots running everything.
Yep. And the first human, the first sex will be the female sex to disappear. Because if you think about it, they're just completely obsolete. Why do we need you anymore?
Well, the population's going down, or the birth rate population's steadily going down if you look at it.
It's almost like an agenda, though.
Well, it is. And it's a population.
Yeah,
it's a population control agenda, which is, it's like not even a secret. They pretty open. World Economic Forum's pretty open about it. They got a certain
talks
number.
About it all the time.
Yeah, there's those big monolith things that were in state that said get the population down to this many people.
500,000.
Yeah. Something ridiculously small. And if you're an elite and you're that like discombobulated from like reality and out of touch, you're like, hey, 500,000 sounds good to me, just a bunch of elitists running everything. I can see them.
Gosh,
1,000 elitists running 499,000 people.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds easier.
Yeah, it does.
It's a lot easier.
Wow.
Maybe they're on to something.
But look what Elon Musk says. No, we need more people.
Yeah.
And we have more than enough adequate space on the entire earth to have 50 billion people. You just have to spread them out in a way and use all of this, geography that we have.
Yeah.
There's ways to do it.
Well, plus the resources. We have enough resources, actually. It seems like we don't because we're all living in this weird, almost borderline third world poverty type state where inflation is out of control. If you guys notice at the gas and at the grocery stores, right? Mm-hmm. So hopefully that'll get better. But there's actually enough resources throughout the world to sustain 50 billion people for the next 1,000 years because it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's very simple. Listen, if our federal government said we are going to give, a tax-free exemption for eternity with this particular company and all of its employees and all of its generational employees for the first company that designs a combustible gas motor that gets 500 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
It would be done in 2 years.
Yeah, it would have been done 20 years ago, because I'm pretty sure it already has been done.
It probably already exists.
They kill those people. Like the guy that's like, hey, look at I'm running it with water.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, it's so simple. Like the conversation about nuclear energy. It's like 6 nuclear plants could run the entire country.
Absolutely.
And there's ways to do where it's so safe.
Yep.
And you don't have to worry about, you know, anybody blowing. It's just, there's ways to do it.
100%.
Yeah, like you could do nuclear energy all over the planet, and just like they want destabilization.
Oh my gosh, it's so obvious.
It's so obvious.
It's everywhere you look. And if they just cut out the freaking tax, you know, if they just stop doing income tax altogether, the amount of government spending, I think we're at like 30 plus trillion now, right? But the amount that they spend is so much that if they stop the needless spending, all of us could just keep our income fully.
Oh, yeah.
Just 100%, and the economy would be thriving.
I'll give you a fun stat. We spend so much money going back to the original, the first Iraq war, not the Gulf War, but the after 9/11. Between then and every other war and proxy war that we've spent money on, we could have built 32 million residential homes at $250,000 per home, and literally have given out 32 million homes. That would literally populate. So, like, you just give away homes, nice homes, not low-income homes. Just here's a home. You just have to maintain the insurance and the taxes for the year.
Yeah.
So it's like basically paying rent. We could have given away 32 million homes.
Yeah. They won't do it.
No.
Oh, yeah. No, it's all about money.
They don't care about us.
Yeah, exactly. It's capitalism.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. You know the Michael Jackson
Yeah,
song?
exactly.
He was right. I made a really good thing, because before we wrap this up, so here's one of my observations, kind of tying it back into just like Hollywood entertainment stuff. You are from that world. You were a director in Hollywood. Producer. And you know, lots of people have lots of connections and relationships with people and stuff. And to have him on here and actually kind of say, yeah, like this stuff is crazy, it's happening, that's eye-opening, because you have more knowledge of it than I do, you know, from people that are directly affected by what's going on over there. And like, we need more people like that coming out. And we're starting to slowly see it trickle out. More people are kind of willing to speak up against it or about it. So like, I applaud you for coming out and speaking on it. Yes, definitely applause worthy. So thank you for that.
Let's give a warning to the women though, because so it's still happening. And the biggest problem is people faking that they have power. So if you're a woman in Hollywood, don't go to a private hotel room. And if you do want to sleep with someone for a contract, sign the contract first. Verify the contract with your lawyer. I'm all for, like, if you're an adult and you want to give it up for a nice contract and a role in a film, do your thing. But make sure you get that deal inked and that the deal is real and that you have proof of funds that the film is actually going through.
Yeah.
Don't just give yourself away, because Hollywood is a lot of, you know, give and take. I managed a lot of young actors early on in their careers, and they're like, I'm going to do this film just for footage. That's great, but sign a contract for the footage, that you have the footage within 6 to 8 weeks, or you're never going to get the footage. And the ones that listened to me got the footage, the ones that didn't. So if you're a woman in Hollywood, look for the red flags, verify the producer, and if they really, really want to do something for you, you just look for the sexual innuendos, and if you even see one, walk away. Walk away. You know, because I'll tell you a quick little story about a producer that I knew out there who would go out and he would change his accent and his name, and he would pick up women and he would lie about everything. He's a British guy. He would do a British accent, change his name, go home and sleep with the girl. He couldn't do anything for them. But one time he contacted me and he's like, in this situation, she wants to spend the whole day with me. I'm like, just what are you doing? I told you, bro, you can't keep doing this. Mm-hmm. First of all, there's a law in California called rape by what's the name of it? Rape by
manipulation.
It's like you're basically rape by manipulation is. It's like
lying and doing what you got to do to get laid.
Yes. So he's like, she wants to spend the day with me. I have to do this British accent all day. I'm like, dude, you're going to get busted one day. I can't keep telling you. You can't do this to people. So you got to look out for that.
Yeah.
And just be like, you don't have to have an attitude about it, but just have a very professional approach. You know the guys who want to take care of you. When they're very professional, if they want to invite you out to dinner, they're going to make sure that there's like an assistant with them or another producing partner. If they ask you to go for drinks, no, man, this is about the art. And if you want me for my talent, take me on for my talent. If you want to go sleep with someone, make sure the contract's signed before you do it.
100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
I am so excited to have you, right? We're super excited. And so please subscribe to our channel. And did you want to say anything else to those people out there to go to your restaurant, to visit? Anything you want to say before?
Yeah. Come check out Plant Based Mafia. We're a mafia-themed restaurant in Palm Beach Gardens. Amazing food. And if you want to go see the last film I produced, it's called Austin Found, starring Linda Cardellini, Craig Robinson, Skeet Ulrich, all awesome guys. And I'm still doing some really cool stuff right now with some big rappers in South Florida. I can't talk about it right now, but we're doing this really cool film with some big South Florida rappers, so that's going to be super cool.
Awesome.
Dude.
So we can wait for you to maybe be back and tell us all about it. Will you come back? Awesome.
Yeah, we'd love to have you again.
Definitely. Well, thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Peace. Yes.
La la la.
La la la.